Hey people, what's going on? It's your boy Mario of Woke Up a Rebel, and I'm bringing you a new episode of Rebelations podcast. This week's episode is titled Black and Afro-Latino Artists with Activist and Conscious Songs. If you would like to follow along with me, you can head over to wokeuparebel.com, go to the top menu, click where it says Woke Up a Rebel newsletter, and there you will find the blog entry for this week where you will be able to follow along with me. So this week is a little bit different. I'm going to be actually reading some lyrics for some songs, right? Based on the title. It's, I guess, very straightforward with what it's going to be about. And I'm going to talk about a few Latino artists that created some songs, related to protest, activism, thinking positive, like just a more positive approach to music, that will leave a lasting impact or in a positive way. Right. So at some points I'm actually going to read what it says on the blog. So that's why I encourage you to read along at wokeuparebel.com. Right. So here are some dope songs that I found by artists who at times have hit home with the messages they've had in their music. They have been very thought provoking. So check them out. So the reason why I decided to do this episode is because I don't know if you've noticed, but recently, so far in 2023, all we've been getting in music is noise, absolute noise, no actual message, of empowerment for the people, something that we can actually take from the music and be like, if I apply this particular message, maybe I can do something better, maybe it could help me think better, maybe it can help me approach a situation better, if it's an actual song of empowerment. And when I say that, I mean the example, I'm sorry that I'm going there, but I just watched the new Shakira and Karol G music video, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, yes, a lot of ladies are waiting for this song because of the hype that's been built around Shakira and her, and her disses, I guess, to her ex, Piqué, the soccer player. And the song is called TQG. And to be honest, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be, right? It's not a bad song, I'm not gonna lie, but it's just one of those songs where it's like, okay, get over it already. You're giving too much power to the negative side of a breakup, right? You should be talking about actual empowerment, not pettiness or bitterness, because the song just sounds very bitter to me. I don't know. I'm just a guy who listened to the song once. But it's because of songs like these that I'm just we need something different. We need something to actually encourage people to make better decisions, not listen to a song, get angry, and potentially burn your ex's clothes or throw them out the window and stuff, right? There's a time and place for everything, and I'm not bashing that the music, and I'm not saying that type of music shouldn't exist. I'm just saying you could be making better music. Like a collaboration like Shakira and Karol G. Did I expect more? No. Did I hope for more? Obviously, because it's a legendary artist with the current it girl in Latin music. Maybe because I'm getting older and I'm seeing what's going on in the world around us, I feel like the lyrics and the music that should be coming out should be a counter to the negativity that we're seeing in our society right now. In many different aspects, everybody has a different point of view of what the negative aspects of what's going on in our society are. I'm not here to debate that right now. That's why I was encouraged to write this particular podcast and newsletter, because I don't know, I think we all should know about certain songs that actually have a deep meaning behind them, songs that are encouraging, songs that promote, awaken your inner rebel.
Did you see what I did there?
Yeah, just something with a better message, I guess, that, could actually, help you from brain decay with all the, like I said, noise that's going on right now. So some of the songs that I chose for this week are Latin songs. Some of them are English songs, and some are hip hop, some are not. But I'm going to go through a few songs that I thought, there's so many songs out there that are about, the movement, empowering women, empowering, people of color and stuff like that. Pushing back against oppression, pushing back against government corruption, right? So I'm going to start off with Afilando los Cuchillos, right? And what that means, translation, is sharpening the knives. And that is by Puerto Rican artist Residente. I don't know how to say this person's name. I apologize. Aile, and Bad Bunny. And this track dropped in 2019, right? So some of this stuff is not my own words. I'm just reading off what I got from some articles, right? A little bit, right? So Puerto Ricans showed the mainland that when you want a corrupt leader out, you take the action that is yours. You take the action that is your right to take. Ricardo Rosello, resigned from his position as the governor of Puerto Rico after multiple mass protests. Afilando los Cuchillos, a protest song by Residente, Bad Bunny, and Aile, lets Ricardo know how the island felt about his betrayal. The people cannot stand more injustices. They got tired of your lies and the manipulation of the news. Hey, all the groups, the hoods were our own militia. You will not take advantage of us again. You are a corrupt man who takes corrupt advice. Right? So if you want to do a little research, do a little Google search about that whole situation that happened in Puerto Rico back in 2019, the people protested, to get this man out of power for, corruption. And to be honest, fast forward to the present day, has much changed? I don't know. I'm not from there, but from the way it seems, it's just as long as the U.S. has their hands in Puerto Rico, it's always going to be somebody that the people think they're appointing, but it's really the U.S. that appoints who's there, I think, right? But nonetheless, what they did was powerful. They showed that in numbers, things can actually change. And I think because of the fact that it was led by two celebrities, and everybody knows who Bad Bunny is, and Residente is he's won how many, I think 30 Grammys. This man is not just some, B-class artist. And I think that's why we didn't see, much violence from the police, towards the crowd, because it would have really drawn a lot of attention, right? If they were beating down on two of the biggest celebrities in the world, right? So that was actually pretty dope that they did that. Bad Bunny, I believe, actually canceled his tour to go to Puerto Rico and, support his people. And I guess that's part of the reason why he's so famous over there and why they support him no matter what he does or what he says or, whatever might come up later on in the future. I don't know. But Bad Bunny definitely used his star power for something good, and I commend him for that, even though I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that he says and does, his content of his music. But this was one that I can't take this away from him. The next song that came to mind that was really impactful during the time when it came out was This Is America by Childish Gambino, and I believe that was in 2018. Donald Glover's powerful message to the world shocked the American public when it was first released. However, years later, it remains relevant. The music video opens with a lengthy tracking shot set to traditional African-inspired music. However, the sudden gunshots shatter the illusion, launching the powerful message of police brutality and violence, right? And I mean, say what you want to say about the music video. When I first saw that music video, I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. I never imagined Childish Gambino would, I didn't think he danced that way. I don't know. But it was, the message was there. The message was delivered. He came to do what he meant to do. And was he successful at it? I really do think he was. Right? He just said so much about what America really is like. And you got to remember, the biggest marketing machine in the world is the United States government. No other nation has portrayed themselves to seem like they're squeaky clean, there's nothing wrong, we're powerful, we're rich. But when you really look at what the U.S. is like, it's completely the opposite. It's falling apart, right? So I think what the Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, did here was very good. It delivered a very powerful message. And I actually like the show Atlanta. I don't know if any of you watched that. I think the series is over now, it's done. And I was watching the last season, and it was actually pretty trippy. I'll be honest with you. I think I've watched all the episodes, or most of the episodes. They've been like background noise while I'm doing stuff. So if you were to ask me what Atlanta is actually about, Donald Glover is a artist manager, and his friend is the artist. And I guess they just go on their adventures. I don't know. I honestly did not know the point of this show, so my bad. But I highly recommend if you're looking for a new show to watch, Atlanta is a good place to go if you're into music stuff, music content. All right, so next up we have Killer Mike and LP. And together they are Run the Jewels, right? So this is about Run the Jewels number 4, which dropped in 2020. And here's a line from there that I'm going to read to you. You so numb, you watch the cops choke out a man like me until my voice goes from a shriek to whisper, I can't breathe. And you sit there in the house on couch and watch it on TV, right? So what Killer Mike was saying over here, what he's referring to here is the time where Eric Garner was murdered by police, the time where George Floyd was murdered by police, and, just addressing that some things haven't changed. You're watching our pain, you're watching, and he's saying that we're watching their pain on TV, like it's something to watch, like it's entertainment, unfortunately. And of course it's not. Rest in peace to these lives, that died in the hands of those that are supposed to be protecting us, right? And, you can really tell that he's really feeling the rage of, the fact that these things are just happening and nothing's being done, right? And I'm just gonna read a little bit over here of what it says. George Floyd. These two unjust killings occurred under tragically, uncannily similar circumstances, out in the open, with other officers standing by, with a man being suffocated to death on camera. Nearly 6 years apart only underscores the unending flow of racist violence in America, right? So it's pretty trippy, right? So it's very unfortunate, but it's something that was happening at the moment and they needed to address it. So I'm really glad that Killer Mike and LP addressed this in their tracks. I highly recommend you go check out that project, Run the Jewels 4. Next up, we have My Bible by Nas. And this is off King's Disease, the album King's Disease 2 that dropped back in 2021. If you haven't checked out King's Disease 3, I highly recommend it. Amazing album. So this song by Nas truly shows his growth. Nas has been in the game for over 20 years, maybe 25 years maybe, right? Basically half of the age of hip hop, right? And I'm going to read some of the lyrics from the songs to you. And it really impacted me because, like I said, I've grown up listening to Nas's music, and to hear his pen game going in this direction now, I love it. So I'm going to read to you. Second chapter. And you get what you give. It's power in how you live. I sit and talk with the kids and tell them just how it is. Go straight to avoid the bids. Living fast can wait. Stay down and work on your grades. Speak gospel for the next generation. You can have it all. Just don't sit with You can have it all, just don't side with Satan. I seen that takedown of most of the greatest. Hotel suites, Hollywood stars hanging. The other side of what you think is fly. Your jewelry could be cursed, and so you can ride. Your jewelry could be cursed, and so can your ride. Let that soak in your mind. Suburbans and Beamers, shot up with Nina's how to stop a young genius. Spiritual like a deep cut from a Shirley Caesar. I wonder if it's Jesus when a baby reach up. Sharpening up myself cause I know they need us. My African skin gave me the passion to win. Praying this doesn't come to a tragic end, and I pray. Right? And so the third verse is actually worth mentioning. Third chapter. This chapter called Women. Y'all been the rib since the beginning. A woman's intuition is what a man is missing. To understand your wisdom is something I had to learn. Somehow you the most unprotected on planet Earth. Your smile lift me up and your eyes kiss my soul. Your sweetness is honeycomb, such a lovely tone. You hold the power to make a house a home. Because of you, I want to right my wrongs. Love, kiss your mother cause we only get one. A grandmother's words to her grandson. Beautiful minds develop in time. Checks every month cause you held me for 9. They might see an image of a woman who's flawed, but I see a woman in the image of God. Highest regards, I light a cigar to man, woman, and children. My Bible is ours. Right? So, wow, like that's amazing, right? Like what amazing growth from Nas. What an amazing thing for him to say. And a lot of people might criticize him and say, oh yeah, well, Khalees was saying that he was beating her, and that may very well be the fact, right? But guess what? We got to give people a chance to grow. We got to give people a chance to learn from the mistakes. If I were to show you all of the sins, all of the things that I have done in my past, obviously nothing in that regard, what I'm mentioning in regards to Nas, obviously nothing in the, if I were to talk about all of the things and the mistakes that I have made in my life, I mean, you would probably hate me, but I'm glad that the people around me have given me the opportunity to grow, to learn from my mistakes. And I love what he says over here about women. You hold the power to make a house a home, right? And it's very true, like if you, the right person, the right woman will turn your house into a home. She will bring love. She'll bring that nurturing love into your home, right? And, it took me a while to learn from my wrongs, but what I was taught by my mom growing up, it started to make sense when it needed to make sense, right? If I was mature enough and smart enough to apply what I was taught from when I was a kid, my life would be in a different situation. I probably would have avoided making certain mistakes, but hey, it's all a part of growth. Everybody's path is different. And I really truly appreciate that Nas dropped a song like this. Next up, we have Rhapsody, right? If you don't know Rhapsody, please make sure you go on whatever platform you stream music from and look up Rhapsody. And she's a dope lyricist, people. You really need to check her out. She had a song back in 2011 called All Black Everything. And here's a bit of verse 2. All black belts for all the blacks that didn't buckle. In the struggle, black medallions medaling, they didn't love us. Crosses burning in our yards, black bangers for the wrist. Up on the wrist, I told them this, Black Friday in the black. Just like a prophet, I would profit. To the black's worth, to the blackness of my brow, gonna support you. Word to Felicia Rashad's black lashes, all blacks they use to make up all the back of buses. I wear liner on the lids for all my brothers, and the mothers' black pics, we stay ahead of this in black. My book bag be dipping cause Rhapsody has got your back. Blacks they be hyping, I'm the light that lit your match. A black watch for all them times I watched MTV Raps. Black lights and blues burn when I record for Watts. And every black like Troy Davis who never had a fair shot. All black everything, everything black. Culture over everything. Yo, we taking it back black. Right? I think that was so powerful, especially coming from a female MC, right? The fact that she's taking this stance even from back then, like she's always been on her conscious tip. And I really appreciate, like that somebody came out with lyrics like this, right? It's very empowering. And myself, even though I'm not a black person, I can relate to it, being a person of color, being a minority, and the importance of just being proud of who you are and standing up for who you are and standing up for the people that look like you. All right, so moving right along to the next track is by a group called Choquip Town, and the song is Somos los Prietos. And this track dropped in 2018. And if I'm not mistaken, it's connected to a TV series by the same name, Somos los Prietos. And if you're wondering what Prieto means, even as a Latino, some people don't know. I didn't know, to be honest. If you Google it, what I get from it in Puerto Rican slang, a Prieto is used to describe someone with tan or dark skin. Right, so this makes sense. It's relevant to the artist because they are all of, the African descent, right? So I'm gonna read a little bit of what it said, where I got this little piece from about them. Included on the album Sin Miedo by the Colombian band, this avant-garde mix of R&B with reggaeton, hip-hop with Jamaican dancehall, and Afrobeat is a hymn to diversity that celebrates the rhythms of the Pacific, right? So this track was to promote the series by the same title by Sony Pictures Television, and it was created to address the racism in Latin America. So the series was set on the Pacific coast of Colombia, and it tells the story of a group of Afro youth who confront poverty and racism through music. So here are some of the lyrics. I'm going to read them in Spanish for you. And if you want to look them up in English, by all means, go for it. Traigo en mi voz el mensaje de mi gente y también el flow que es lo que prevalece. Si quiero cantar, mi sueño va a ser real. No se rinde el que nació donde por todo hay que luchar. Mi estilo es diferente al del monto. Que suene la marimba mientras bailamos los dos. El ritmo es negro y eso ya se comprobó. Pero todo lo negro no es malo, como dice la televisión. Which is very powerful. In the song, they're basically saying that, being black is not bad the way the television portrays it to be, or portrays us, or tells us that we are, right? And that's very powerful because up to this day, like I was looking at a post on Instagram, right, on the Toronto-based Six Buzz account, and I saw this, elderly white woman who called the police on a couple of guys that were shoveling her snow on her sidewalk, right? She got so mad that they shoveled her snow that she actually started throwing snow back onto the sidewalk from her front yard, and it was so disgusting that she did that. She even called the police on them. And when the police showed up, they're like wondering what the heck is going on, right? And these guys, they're just there shoveling the snow for the neighborhood. And you can clearly see them there with their machines, their snow removal machines. So it's very tragic that up until this day, there's still people like that. And obviously, what do we expect? Like some elderly, they come from a different time, and some people are just stuck in their ways. They never progressed, they never evolved, but it still doesn't make it right. Next song, The Story of OJ by Jay-Z. This song dropped in 2017. If I'm not mistaken, it's from the 444 album. The song was released in 2017. The story of OJ touches on African American culture, detailing the traditional and stereotypical roles within the black community. Most notably, the release explains how the black community is affected by money. The lead line, "I'm not black, I'm OJ," references the idea that wealth and fame can transcend race. The song also features samples from Nina Simone's hit For Women, right? So basically what this means, if if you've been living under a rock, or if you weren't born around that time, that's totally cool. But back in the 90s, O.J. Simpson murdered his then wife and her personal trainer, if I'm not mistaken, and he got away with it.
Allegedly.
Why was O.J. able to get away with it? Because exactly what Jay-Z made a reference of. I'm not black, I'm O.J. Here are some of the lyrics from the Jay-Z track. And if you want to watch the music video, I highly recommend it. It sends a very powerful message, right? So here's some of the lyrics. You want to know what's more important than throwing away money at a strip club? Credit. You ever wonder why Jewish people own all the property in America? This how they did it. Financial freedom, my only hope. F living rich and dying broke. I bought some artwork for $1 million. 2 years later, that shit worth $2 million. Few years later, that shit worth $8 million. I can't wait to give this shit to my children. Y'all think it's bougie. I'm like, it's fine. But I'm trying to give you $1 million worth of game for $9.99. I turned that 2 to a 4, 4 to an 8. I turned my life into a nice first week release date. Y'all out here still talking advances, huh? Me and my taking real chances, huh? Y'all on the gram holding money to your ear. There's a disconnect. We don't call that money over here, right? And this was during that time where Jay-Z made that point that having a money phone in your pictures, all these rappers that were doing the money phone and stuff, that's not cool. That's tacky, right? That was never cool. And I'm glad Jay-Z called that out, even though I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan of like who he is as a person, but his music, it's without a doubt impactful. So I highly recommend you check out this track, The Story of OJ. Now, here's a track that I didn't expect from somebody of the caliber and artist that is Miguel, right? This song called How Many dropped in 2016. And Miguel is actually an artist. He's an R&B artist, right? He's actually half black, half Mexican for a lot of you that didn't know that. Right, so R&B artist Miguel's song "How Many" was released in the aftermath of the police shootings of Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Philando Castile outside the Twin Cities, Minnesota. The Black Lives Matter anthem asks the question, how many more black lives does it take before change comes? And here's the hook to that song. Brothers and sisters, it's time to wake up. Wake up, wake up. Brothers and sisters, it's time to say something. Do something. Make them. How many black lives? How many black lives? How many heartbeats turned into flat lines? Oh, how many black lives? How many black lives does it take to wake the change? We can't let them die in vain. What it takes to wake the change, right? And it's a powerful message, very straightforward. Not such crazy wordplay, but it delivered the message, right? Whatever was in Miguel's heart, and I commend him for that. He makes decent music. I actually enjoy listening to Miguel's music, especially his Spanish material, right? He redid a lot of his English songs into Spanish. Next up, we have this legendary song by Kendrick Lamar called All Right from 2015. Taken from his third studio album, All Right is Kendrick Lamar's lyrically optimistic take on the current state of affairs of that time. It begins with the infamous line, "All's my life I had to fight," from Alice Walker's The Color Purple. After it was released, the song became associated with the Black Lives Matter movement after several youth-led protests were observed chanting the chorus. In 2019, Pitchfork named it the best song of the 2010s. Right, so here's verse 2 from that song. What you want? What you want? You a house? You a car? 40 acres and a mule? A piano, a guitar? Anything. See, my name is Lucy. I'm your dog. Mother effer, you can live at the mall. I can see the evil. I can tell it knows when it's illegal. I can tell it. I can see the evil. I can tell it. I know when it's illegal. I don't think about it. I deposit every other zero. Thinking of my partner, put the candy, paint it on the regal. Digging in my pocket ain't a profit big enough to feed you. Every day my logic, get another dollar just to keep you in the presence of your chico. I don't talk about it. Be about it. Every day I see cool. If I get it, then you know you got it. Heaven, I can reach you. Pat dog, my dog, that's all. Black ball, big back, and Chad, I trap the bag for y'all. I rap, I black on track, so rest assured. My rights, my wrongs, I write till I'm right with God. Interpret this song how you want, but he's clearly talking to Lucifer in this. Anything, see, my name is Lucy, I'm your dog. You can live at the mall. Basically, Lucifer is offering him everything, right? And I think throughout To Pimp a Butterfly, he's actually talking to Lucifer, right, in an indirect way, or I guess in a subliminal way. And I highly recommend that you look into that, because I think I read about that perspective when that album dropped, which is why that came to mind right away. And when you hear him say the name Lucy, he's not talking about I love Lucy, he's talking about Lucifer, right? So just keep that in mind if you go back and listen to that album. I think it's To Pimp a Butterfly, right? So for the most part, those are the songs, so for the time that we have, those are the songs that I wanted to talk about that I felt deserved a mention. And obviously there's countless amounts of songs that are worthy of mentioning, but we just ran out of time, and I try to keep this about 30 minutes because I know we all got things to do. I know you got other podcasts to listen to. I know you got music to listen to. Right, so here's some songs that are worth mentioning, right? I don't know how to say this, so I apologize, but it's a song called Wayathul by Jeffrey Gurumul Junupingu, and this was back in 2008. It was written in his mother languages, Galpu, Jambarpunu, I am so sorry, and Gumaj. Jeffrey Gurumul, for his first album, Gurumul, was an incredibly raw depiction of indigenous art in modern culture. Wayathul is an ode to the country, and a sublime and angelic release from the blind indigenous artist, right? Highly recommend you just check this song out. The vibe in it is just so peaceful, like I just had to mention it. And another song that has a worthy mention is Energy by Big Crit. This song dropped in 2019. And it's just such a positive song. Like, I don't know. Here's some of the lyrics for it. Hot life, hot tie, don't drown. Big breath, taste stale, stay cool. When I'm down, dead vibe, that's right, on top. That height, I fly, skydive, high five, we won't die. See hope, see drive, see why. In my eyes, win big, win life. Take off, bye bye. No slip, black ice. Big shooter, lit fly. Don't stop, must try. Energy, that's why I'm doing the most. I'm in the middle of the road running the globe. I'm fighting for doors to give everything back what they owe. So close, don't fold. Live bright, live bold, kick back, get close, light it up for yours, right? So it's just a very positive message, and like it's not an activist message, but at the same time you could use it during a moment where you just really need to get your energy up. Maybe something happened to you, maybe somebody said something racist to you, maybe somebody made you feel lesser than because of your skin color or your culture, your ethnicity, your accent. The message that I want to leave you with this episode is, no matter what, keep fighting, keep pushing forward for what you want. Sometimes there will be systemic pushback on our advancements as minorities in where we are right now, where I am, at least in Toronto, Canada. Thankfully, it's not as intense as it is in the US, but we still experience symptoms of severe racism, within our city, right? So just remember, there are songs like these that you can go back to whenever you're feeling like, you need a little bit of encouragement, you need a lift, right? You can come back and refer to this newsletter and, just look up these songs. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Rebelations podcast. I truly appreciate that you're here. I truly appreciate that you keep tuning back in. If there are other songs that you think I should have mentioned, then please, if you're listening to this on YouTube, drop it in the comments so other people can check it out. Other people can find out about these dope songs. The songs that are mentioned in this episode, you're going to be able to hear them in the Woke Up a Rebel playlist that's on Spotify. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll check you next week for the next episode.